Good morning. And welcome to chapel on this cold and snowy morning. I love snow, but I suspect that's not shared by everyone listening here. But I was really, it gladdened my heart the other day when it was just a blizzard outside. It's been a while since I stood in this pulpit. My message is based on Mark 10. Who am I? I've asked myself a lot. I'm Stan Escott. I'm a resident of Hawthorne Trail. I've lived here in Timbercrest since 2012 with Joanne, who passed away 6 years ago. We thank Doris Charles for the music. Carpenter. Doris Charles was a staff member of mine years ago. Oh my goodness. Doris Carpenter. And Tim Ritchie Martin has been working on the technology of the show. Mark 10 tells the story of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who come to Jesus. And they ask him a favor. They want to be seated at his right hand and at his left hand when he goes to his glorious throne. And Jesus' reply is, "You do not know what you're asking." And sure enough, they did not know. "Can you drink of this bitter cup that I must drink? Or can you suffer through the baptism that I must suffer through?" And of course they said, "Oh yeah, we can do that." Then Jesus told them, "You indeed will drink from my bitter cup and be baptized by my baptism of suffering. But I have no right to say who will sit on my right or on my left. God has prepared those places for the ones he has chosen." That request was granted. And so we may be in that very place where Jesus is telling us, you do not know what you are asking. Even after all that the disciples had seen in Jesus' ministry, the healing, the lessons, they thought one thing, that he was going to lead the nation. He's going to lead the nation out from under the thumb of Rome. That was what was fixed in their minds. But what Jesus was preparing was something much more powerful. What about you and me? I think most of us would say we come to chapel, come to church to worship the Lord, that we are committed to him. That's what our dedication is. That's what accepting Christ. I had seen him working with campus ministry. I'd seen him working with the students at the university, and I really liked how he interacted with both faculty and students. It was really great. But the first thing that Reverend Watts asked us was, what are you looking for in a church? What are you looking for in a church? Just yesterday, after worship service at Zion Lutheran, we were basically being asked that question, because we are in a congregation that is exploring different approaches in different ways. But one woman in that group gave an answer that really stuck with me. She said, "When I was a child, it was my parents' faith that I embraced, and I thought that was the way. But then when I became an adult, what I had learned then just didn't seem to be working with me. And I struggled with that. So I've been trying to put together some things on my own. I'm trying to fit the pieces of this faith puzzle together. That woman was on a spiritual quest to clarify what she believed and what she wanted to believe. She was trying to fit the pieces of her faith puzzle together. You have to respect that. Remember, the disciples were hearing and watching and seeing Jesus in his ministry, but they were ordinary fishermen for the most part. What they knew all their lives was keep the boat in good repair, go out every day, cast your nets, bring those nets in with the catch, take the catch to the market, sell it, and live on the proceeds. The next day, repeat and repeat. That was their life. But then Jesus came along. Jesus came along with his message of the gospel. During the first year of their fellowship, they often gathered in Jesus' home for conversation, but mostly to listen to him. Then that fateful invitation, the one that said, "Come, follow me. Let's go visit some other towns." And that was the beginning of another year that was leading to something much more than they had ever imagined. So much had changed and would continue to change. The gospel lesson was confusing throughout the Holy Land. To those steeped in Judaism and listening to the message of Christ, it was hard. There was a struggle. There were conflicts that came up. Paul had his hands full in Galatia because of the Judaizers who were coming along saying, you've got to do these things in order to be part of this whole thing. And they saw Christianity. They saw Christianity as a subset of Judaism. Well, the growing pains of Christianity at times were difficult, and it is no wonder that the disciples had cast Jesus in the role of a conqueror. So what do we learn from this lesson? I think there are 4 points as it relates to our faith journey. The first is we have to be honest in our seeking, in our uncertainty. And when Joanne heard me, she said, "Stan, why are you so angry?" And that really set me on the right path, because I had to ask myself, why? Why am I angry? Why wouldn't he talk to me about that? Why wouldn't I talk to others about their faith? How are they going to learn if I keep it all bottled up?